take an unhurried step out into your garden, bow down, and slip your bare hands into the earth beneath your feet. What is the very first sensation that greets your fingertips? Is it the loose, moist, and cooling embrace of life? Or is it a dry, hardened, and calloused mass? In the hurried rhythm of modern life, millions of gardeners, from city dwellers nurturing a few pots on a windowsill to those spending their youth reclaiming a backyard plot, share a common, quiet yearning. We ache for dark, loamy earth, breathing in a steady rhythm, brimming with vitality. Yet, the agricultural industry only teaches us to solve this problem with currency. They display bags of expensive synthetic fertilizers and flashy rooting hormones, making us forget a profound truth. The soil is not a machine waiting to be fueled. The soil is a living entity waiting to be nourished. And today, we will step back centuries in time, casting aside all chemicals to return to a quiet secret. A humble ingredient resting right in your kitchen pantry, possessing the power to summon the greatest architects of Mother Earth. Before we speak of the kitchen, we must speak of the silent laborers beneath the loam, the earthworms. In 1881, merely months before his passing, the great naturalist Charles Darwin published the final book of his life. It was not a grand treatise on human evolution, but a monumental study on earthworms. Through meticulous calculation, he published a staggering revelation. On a single acre of healthy soil, these tiny creatures, possessing neither eyes nor ears, silently plowed and shifted more than 18 tons of earth every single year. They are the primal architects, carving winding biological tunnels that allow rainwater to percolate and plant roots to breathe. Their stomachs are tiny refineries, transmuting coarse organic debris into worm castings, nature's most precious black gold. Modern studies in 2011 have measured that soil rich in worm castings can boost crop yield and growth rates by up to 25%. Roots reach deeper, leaves glow with a profound dark green, and blossoms unfurl with brilliant radiance. Yet, the Amish community, ever since setting foot in the valleys of Pennsylvania in the early 1700s, never needed to read Darwin's book to understand this truth. Their farming philosophy is profoundly simple, yet immensely wise. You cannot fertilize the plant, you can only fertilize the soil. When the soil is satiated, it knows perfectly well how to nourish the plant. Throughout the 1930s, when the Dust Bowl swept across America, turning heavily mechanized, over-tilled fields into barren deserts of sand, the Amish farms remained lush and vibrantly green because their earth retained its precious moisture, held together by a spongy, humus-rich structure woven by billions of earthworms and microorganisms. Many of us believe that simply dumping heaps of dry leaves or vegetable scraps into a compost bin is enough to resurrect the soil. Compost is magnificent, but it acts like slow-burning logs. Microbes and earthworms sometimes need a spark, an explosive, easily digestible source of energy to multiply rapidly and sustain their labor exactly where the roots are thirsting. The Amish hold a deep-rooted belief that nothing in this world should ever be deemed waste. Every organic fragment belongs to the closed, flawless loop of nature. Drawing from that mindset of reverence, the quiet answer to healing the earth lies in a handful of coarse cornmeal or a piece of stale bread resting in your kitchen. Corn and wheat, humble creations from the western fields, are not merely sustenance for mankind. They act as a colossal biological switch for the subterranean world. When you introduce this starchy source into the earth, whether it be coarse cornmeal, stale bread, or merely the warm water left over from boiling potatoes, you are unleashing a massive wave of carbohydrates. Under the embrace of moisture, this starch rapidly breaks down into simple sugars. For the microorganisms dwelling in the soil, This rush of sugar is akin to a royal banquet. They awaken and multiply exponentially within mere hours. And this is when the true miracle unfolds. Earthworms do not directly consume the cornmeal or bread. They are drawn by the explosive blooming of that very microbial population. The scent of life, the sweet aroma of fermenting sugars, is a dinner bell that no earthworm can resist. A tiny pinch of these ingredients can ignite a subterranean festival where bacteria decompose, mycorrhizal fungi spread, and earthworms gather to plow, transforming a compacted clod of dirt into a carpet of humus as soft as velvet. If, in this quiet moment, as we listen together to the breathing of Mother Earth and reflect upon the power of humble things, you feel your soul gently refreshed, please softly press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment sharing a story about the garden or the potted plants you are tenderly caring for. Your rustic connection is the quiet energy that allows me to continue bringing forth these forgotten historical tales and ecological philosophies, so that we may learn together how to slow down and love nature more deeply. Envision a perfectly ordinary evening at home. After the meal, a few crusts of stale bread or a scrape of leftover corn porridge remain at the bottom of the pot. In a modern consumer society, those scraps would be callously swept into the trash bin. But when viewed through the lens of reverence for all living things, that piece of stale bread is actually a fiercely powerful biological spark. If you gently loosen the topsoil in your potted plant or the corner of your garden bed, bury that piece of bread deeply, cover it, and press the earth down firmly. A chain reaction is instantly triggered. Burying it deep ensures maximum moisture retention for the microbes, while simultaneously guaranteeing the garden does not inadvertently attract rodents or destructive pests. Soft bread decomposes with staggering speed. Just a few days later, if you were to gently brush away the topsoil, you would watch in awe as that space is no longer still. Dozens of earthworms have sought it out, wriggling, plump, and brimming with vitality. They have transformed that once barren corner of earth into a spongy, nutrient-dense pocket of worm castings that no amount of money could ever buy. But that is merely the surface of this quiet art. If stale bread is a roaring, fast-burning flame, then coarsely ground cornmeal is a time capsule. For balcony planters or heavy clay garden beds, you can sprinkle a handful of coarse cornmeal, bury it about 2 knuckles deep, and pack the soil tight. Cornmeal does not break down instantly. The sturdy architecture of the milled kernel demands time. Over the following weeks, the starches will slowly seep out, nourishing the microbial life with a patient, enduring, and persistent rhythm. Nothing beneath the surface happens loudly. A few months later, when you thrust your hand into the earth, that once stubborn block of clay will have crumbled, turning loose, friable, and pitch black. Life is sustained steadily, exactly how nature always operates, never rushed, but never ceasing. And speaking of the quiet power of water, we cannot overlook the warm, starchy liquid left behind after boiling potatoes. That water, suspended with starches and trace minerals from the tubers, which is usually flushed carelessly down the sink, is actually an extraordinary soil-activating elixir. Simply allowing it to cool and pouring it directly into your indoor potted plants gifts the roots a soothing drink, moistening the earth and instantly comforting the parched microbes. But the absolute pinnacle of understanding nature lies in the art of fermentation. For thousands of years, traditional Western farmers did not pour their potato water out immediately. They left the earthen crock sitting on the corner of the porch for a few days until the water emitted a mildly pungent, sour aroma. That is not spoilage, that is the birth of lactic acid bacteria. Much like how humans consume yogurt or fermented vegetables to heal their gut, fermented potato water is a premium probiotic for the soil. Drenching the roots with this fermented elixir not only hydrates, but it establishes a robust immune shield, helping the roots miraculously fend off fungal diseases and root rot. For this miracle to remain pure, it demands restraint and deep reverence. Nature has never favored extremes. The power of kitchen starches is undeniably real, but greed will destroy it all. If you eagerly dump a massive pile of starch into a garden bed, you are not feeding the soil, you are suffocating it. Too much starch at once will drain the soil's oxygen, plunging it into anaerobic decomposition. In a matter of days, the earth will reek of sour decay, harming the roots and driving the terrified earthworms away. The rule of survival is this: use only a thin layer, a small handful, and always bury it deeply beneath the soil so the decomposition can unfold in quiet darkness. Furthermore, absolutely never use bread or scraps that have been salted, soaked in oil, or seasoned. Salt and cooking oils are highly toxic to the delicate skin of earthworms and will mercilessly slaughter the very microbial ecosystem you are trying to cultivate. Only the pristine, original purity of corn and wheat is permitted to return to Mother Earth. When you truly understand and weave these humble ingredients together with other remnants from the kitchen, a symphony of life will begin to play. Starch provides quick sugars and energy, while used coffee grounds compensate with a massive dose of nitrogen, offering a coarse, gritty texture that earthworms absolutely adore. Dark brown banana peels bring potassium to harden the stems and branches, and finely crushed eggshells sprinkled into the earth will slowly release calcium, thickening the plant's cell walls to fend off blossom end rot. Not a single thing is called trash. Your kitchen is, in truth, a treasure trove waiting patiently to be returned to the heart of the earth. The journey from a crust of bread or a handful of cornmeal to a bed of dark, friable humus is not merely a gardening technique. It is an awakening. It reminds us that the greatest abundance sometimes does not come from how much more we can purchase or consume from the outside world, but from how we cherish the simplest, most rustic fragments right within our own lives. From the fragile pothos resting on the windowsill to the towering tomato vines reaching for the sun, they are all awaiting your quiet partnership. Save that crust of bread, hold on to that ladle of potato water, bury it gently into the earth, and observe with patience. You will see that Mother Earth has never betrayed those who know how to bow down and offer their love.